And we're going to start with Tsogo Sun, which owns Southern Sun, Holiday Inn, and a number of resort hotels at coastal venues. What else does it do?
It owns a bunch of casinos. I mean, it has to be noted that in fact the casinos are a more important revenue contributor. But if you put all of that together, it's got a market cap of 31.3 billion rand. So it's in the ALSI 40, and it's one of those stocks which definitely requires a bit more attention nowadays.
It has an price to earnings ratio of 17.9 and a dividend yield, not to be underestimated, at 2.4%.
Well, let's just go back into the history and talk about this one. So you remember the listed entity used to be called Gold Reef Casinos, and it really just owned Gold Reef down there south of Joburg. And then what happened is that Southern Sun and the HCI controlling shareholder decided to put the various Tsogo Sun assets into that listing and rename the resulting vehicle Tsogo Sun Holdings. So what you've got there is the Southern Sun's hotels, right? We know those, the Intercontinental, various venues around the country. It also has the Holiday Inn chain, which again, very well established South African brand. Add to that all of the casinos that Tsogo had, which is things like Monte Casino and Silver Star, and then all of the assets that Gold Reef had. So they've got a dominant position in gambling here in the Gauteng area.
You sound very convincing when you talk about this portfolio. I hope that it's a buy on your list.
Well, look, I think we want to talk tourism today. So, I know some people go on tourism outings to Monte Casino, but in the main, what we're talking about here are additional assets they have, like, for example, the Maharani and the Elangeni and the Durban beachfront. Big property there. They have assets in Cape Town. They have recently expanded into Southern Africa. You know about their, Tsogo Sun resort down there in Mozambique. People stay there.
I'll go and examine it. I didn't know about
it.
They're
spending 300 million rand or something on upgrading that. They've bought assets up in Nigeria, so they're quite keen to expand into that market. And net, I guess, deciding whether this one is hot or not all comes down to whether you think
But you don't like their gambling assets. Is that a net negative, or can we get away with it in this portfolio?
Look, gambling is one of those things that seems to be sort of hardwired into the human psyche.
Gambling, but not your psyche.
Not mine, but it is popular both with high rollers, people with a lot of money that like to live fast and dangerously and die young and poor. It also, though, is very popular with middle-income people who like to go for a bit of a flutter. And we know these venues have got some additional attractions like museums and other resorts that get tacked onto them.
Did you say museums?
Yes, like the Gold Reef City has got the Apartheid Museum in it, and that's a big draw card in terms of tourists coming to Johannesburg. And then
so where are we going with this? Is it positive at the end of the day?
Look, it's correlated to the consumer cycle. So if consumers are keen on, being a little bit more outgoing and forthcoming, then it will do well. As far as tourism is concerned, I am positive about that. Because of course, we're getting more and more tourists from inside of Africa.
So does that translate into a hot on Tsogo Sun?
I think so. I think a kind of a modest, somewhat wishy-washy hot.